Hey, good morning. I'm Vic Senese with UroNurse News. Be sure to like and subscribe. We begin today with a developing international health investigation that reads like something out of a medical thriller, but it's very real. A deadly outbreak of the rare Hantavirus has unfolded over the course of several weeks aboard a cruise ship traveling from Argentina towards Antarctica, then across the South Atlantic Ocean. According to the World Health Organization, cruise operator data, and shipping tracking records, what started out as an isolated illness case has now become a multi-country medical investigation spanning thousands of miles. The ship departed southern Argentina on April 1st, carrying nearly 150 passengers and a crew from 23 countries aboard the expedition vessel MV Hondius. These were not typical cruises. These are long expedition voyages lasting a month or more, traveling through some of the most remote waters on Earth. On April 6th, a 70-year-old Dutch passenger became ill. Symptoms included fever, headache, and mild gastrointestinal illness. Within days, his condition worsened significantly. On April 11th, he died on board the vessel. At that time, the cause of death was unknown. What makes this case unusual is what happened next. The ship continued its journey for nearly 2 more weeks. It passed remote regions of the South Atlantic, including stops near isolated islands such as Tristan da Cunha and later St. Helena. Only on April 24th was the passenger body removed from the vessel at St. Helena. His wife, already showing symptoms, disembarked with the remains and flew toward South Africa. During that flight, her condition deteriorated rapidly. She collapsed upon arrival in South Africa and died in the hospital the following day, April 26th. Another passenger, a British man, later developed severe symptoms including high fever, shortness of breath, and pneumonia-like illness while still aboard the ship. He was evacuated to Ascension Island, then transferred to South Africa in critical condition. He remains in intensive care. A third passenger, a German woman, died on board after developing similar respiratory symptoms while the ship was en route to Cape Verde. Her body remains aboard the vessel. Here is the critical timeline gap. Nearly a full month passed between the first death and laboratory confirmation of hantavirus infection in South Africa, more than 3,500 kilometers away. Only after posthumous testing and investigation did authorities confirm hantavirus in at least 2 of the cases. The World Health Organization now considers this a suspected outbreak, with additional cases under investigation. So what is hantavirus? Hantavirus is a rare but serious virus spread primarily through rodents. Humans can become infected through contact with saliva, urine, or droppings of infected rodents. It typically does not spread easily from person to person, though some rare cases suggest limited transmission may be possible depending on the strain. In South America, the Andes virus strain is the most relevant species and is known to cause severe respiratory illness. At this time, 3 deaths have been reported. 1 passenger remains in intensive care. 3 additional passengers remain symptomatic on board. Evacuations are underway for most critical cases. The ship remains offshore near West Africa with passengers and crew isolated in cabins under strict distancing protocols, conditions reminiscent of a pandemic-era containment strategy. Authorities are now focused on several critical questions. How did hantavirus enter a closed cruise ship environment? Was there a rodent exposure during port stops or on board? Could environmental contamination have occurred in South American regions before boarding? And why was this diagnosis delayed for nearly 4 weeks? Medical evacuation aircraft are now being deployed to extract remaining critical patients. Plans are in motion to transfer patients to Europe for continued treatment, while the ship is expected to proceed toward the Canary Islands. Spanish authorities are monitoring the situation closely. The World Health Organization states the global risk remains low, given that hantavirus is not easily transmitted between people. However, the investigation continues into how a rare zoonotic disease was able to spread undetected for weeks in a controlled maritime environment. This case highlights a critical lesson in global health surveillance: how quickly a rare infection can move through a closed environment before detection catches up. We'll continue to follow this developing story as more information becomes available. For UroNurse News, I'm Vic Senese. Hey, tonight on Dr. Jeff Talks About Sex and Intimacy, we step into a deeply human conversation at the intersection of faith, identity, and belonging. For many in the LGBTQ plus community, the question isn't just about relationships or intimacy, it's about something even more fundamental. Where do I belong exactly as I am? Hey, tomorrow on UroNurse News, we take on one of the most surprising science myths you've probably heard. Never had fully explained. Are bananas really radioactive? And if so, should we be concerned? It's a quick, eye-opening look at how science can sound scary until you understand the context. So be sure to tune in tomorrow and you'll find out.
UroNurse, where the experts meet. Online learning, practical and sweet. Every Saturday, 9 a.m. Central Time. YouTube, Facebook, X, and LinkedIn.